to the final episode of Pets Practice Series 2. We have all had a great deal of fun putting the show together, and we hope you have learnt a thing or two along the way and enjoyed watching what we all do. Today, each of us will be going back in time and showing you some of our favourite clips from the show. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our series review of Pets Practice. One of my favourite stories was the case of Lydia and Rudy. One Sunday morning, Lydia came into Vets on Parker after a very sleepless night for all, as Rudy had been very ill for the past 12 hours. Yeah, you've got Rudy
Kevin.
here.
Yes.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, as you can see, he's
He's
not
not his normal self, is he? Rudy's usually bouncing off the table.
Yeah, so since last night we noticed that he's been really unwell.
Yeah.
I found some vomit in his kennel. And he had a very sleepless night. He didn't sleep at all, not eating, drinking or anything.
Has he or Clancy had anything unusual to eat over the last few days? Anything different to what they normally get?
Nothing different at all. But look, I know we might be clutching at straws, but we did notice that he had some sand around his mouth.
Okay. Ready? What we've got here is his abdomen. We've got his dorsal spine at the top, his pelvis, his hind limbs, his rib cage through here. This is his spleen here. But what I'm concerned about is this opacity, this dark structure through here, which is actually in the position of his descending large colon. Having this black opacity here is not normal, and what we've got is we've got an impaction of his descending colon. Given his history from speaking to Lydia earlier in the day, she said to me that he likes playing in the sandbox with Clancy, his brother, and she noticed there was an awful lot of sand around his beard. What I think's happened is that he's ingested sand as part of, well, what young puppies do, and it's passed through his gastrointestinal system, got through into his colon. The colon's main job is to absorb water, and that's exactly what's happened. The colon's absorbing the water, but it's leaving the rock-hard sand behind. Now, the good news for Rudy is that this impaction is present, or this blockage is present within his colon, within his large colon, which means with medical treatment, maybe an enema if it doesn't clear, he certainly should be fine. I'm very happy to say Rudy made a full recovery and the team visited him at home just days after his little sand episode.
So Lydia, this Rudy's a completely different dog from when we saw him last. When did he come out of the veterinary clinic?
He came out of the veterinary clinic on Monday, and so nearly a week now, and as you can see he is a totally different dog, and in fact I sort of was joking that the only sign of his illness is the fact that he's got a little patch on his leg where he was shaved.
Lisa, I'm sure you have many favourite moments from the series.
Well, Dr. Kevin, there are some things I never considered I would do in my life, let alone in Australia, and sled dog racing is one of them. Bit of friendly banter with my cheeky competition Tom, and struggling to control my distracted canine made this one of my favourite experiences in the series.
Sled dog racing is typically a winter sport, most popular in the US, Europe and Arctic regions. And we Aussies have adapted it to our beautiful snow-free backyard. Today I'm out with the Siberian Husky Club, one of many groups around Australia encouraging the sport.
Ian, what is going on here today? What event is this?
Well, this is our first workshop for the year to introduce people to the sport of sled dog racing.
Sled dog racing in Australia. It's a bit of a foreign concept. What does it actually mean?
Well, we run dog teams out in state forest. Once a year we go off to the snow, so most of the year we're just out in the forest with wheeled vehicles.
Great, surrounded by the beautiful Australian bush.
Absolutely.
So obviously I need to be decked out in safety gear. What are we looking at?
So helmets obviously are mandatory, head protection. There's a So a lot of people wear gloves, but the other one that is mandatory is the line cutter in case the dogs get tangled in a multi-dog team. We've got a cutter there that allows you to sever the line that connects the dog to the scooter or the rig, just in case the dogs get tangled. We can untangle them quickly. But they're the two key pieces that we need.
I think it's time to meet the competition. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Heidi and her family have been involved in sled dog racing since 2008, and 14-year-old Tom has taken out the Australian title on more than one occasion.
Tom, how many races have you been in?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. And how many have you won?
How many have you won?
I see what you're doing. Unnerving the competition. And what am I in for?
A few paddles, maybe the odd bump.
Okay, bump I can handle, a few puddles, might get a bit wet. Now we have to go 30 seconds apart, I understand. So, gentlemen first, and I'll see you at the finish line. Oh my gosh.
Lesson number 1, be ready to use the brakes, because when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Just stopping to do a poop. Yes, lovely.
Lesson number 2, racing is thirsty work.
Oh dear. Come on.
Lesson number 3, the racetrack is marked by more than ribbons and cones.
Hey, how am I supposed to beat him if you stop and sniff trees?
And home stretch can be hard work, so make sure your footwear is up for the challenge.
Yay!
Great first run, Lisa. 8 minutes
Oh,
and 30 seconds.
Thank you very much.
And Tom, you did indeed win 5 minutes 30. Congratulations.
I hear I win something ridiculous for coming last.
We have a red lantern prize, especially for a last place. So, well
I'm
done.
a winner in my own eyes.
Julia, I have really enjoyed watching Flick's tricks each week. It must be really difficult, but if you were to pick 1 or 2 out of 12 episodes, which one would be your favourite?
Oh, what do you think, Flick? It's difficult to choose, but one of my favourites would have to be Paws On. Let's take a look, and if your dog is at your side, why not follow along with me? I'd like to welcome my rookie dogs and their owners. We've got Diana with Buddha and Paul with Hercules. So to start off with, guys, come on, Flick. We're going to load our hand up with a whole heap of treats and use that treat to lure their nose up, sort of over the surface, and hopefully their paws will go on. So give it a try with them. Load the hands on. That's it. Treats in the hand and pull it up and over. As soon as they've put their paws on, you can mark it with a yes or a click and give the treat party. And if they've got a release word, use your release word to say they can hop off again. And then just go through it again. So using a treat at their nose, pull it up and over that surface and see if the dogs will put their paws on. Now it's really important to remember that the dog only gets a treat for paws on the actual surface. If they get a little bit excited and drop it or put their paws back on the ground, no treats come when paws are on the ground. We want to build value for holding and keeping front paws on the obstacle. Party. So you can release your dogs and try it again. Here we go, good one. Party. Now for those of you at home, if your dog's having a bit of trouble and getting so super excited about following the food, what you can try instead is manually picking up their front feet and placing them on, making sure that once they're on, yes, and you give treats. If I can grab one, there we go. A treat for her having front feet on. Remember, treats come when front feet are on the obstacle. Party. using the release word to indicate end of exercise. This is one trick where fading the lure can be quite easy. Your hand gesture to the surface should be enough for the dog to want to put its paws on, upon which you'll give a treat for your dog's good choice. Once your dog understands to stay in position until you give him the release word, you'll be able to take some amazing photos of your favourite fur kid. We look forward to seeing them. Why not send them to our Facebook page? Happy snapping. Until next time, guys. Ching.
Nigel, we know you've been rescuing animals for over 30 years, but during the series, we've only been able to see 12 of them. Do you have one that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, thanks Kevin. In 30 years I have rescued over 35,000 animals, and it's impossible to have a film crew with you all the time to capture them all. And the ones that we did record, a favourite of mine would have to be a cat rescue up a very flimsy tree in the pouring rain. We all love our pets. This rescue was for a couple of hearing impaired guys whose cat just means the world to them. I have to make sure that I'm always connected to the tree all times, so if any branches break, that I don't fall. Now this would have to be one of the hardest trees to climb because there are so many branches here. They just keep getting in my way. I much prefer to climb trees that have less and fewer branches. Gotta get myself a good grip. I've got no grip with my feet at the moment. Here we go. Are you ready for your rescue? After 2 days, you're coming down, Misty. Come here. Good pussy cat. That's a good cat. These are the ones that I like. Sometimes I have cats that run around the trees on me but don't want to be caught. So we better get the bag out. Time to put one little putty cat into a bag. What do you think, matey? Here we go. Gotcha. Come on, come on. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. That's a good little kitty cat. That's good, Misty. And now it's starting to rain. Yes, we got you now. You're going to be back home with Daddy very shortly. Yes, you will be. Now that we've got Misty safe in the bag, time to ascend back down to the ground. It's always a lot easier coming down trees than what it is climbing up them. I can't believe I've broken so many branches. I've tried to break none. This tree has just been so flimsy and so difficult to climb. It is certainly one of my harder ones. But the cat is down safe and so am I. And that's what it's all about. Come on, Misty. Here we go. Misty, there you go. Here's your dad. Okay. Here you go, Greg. Oh, this is what I love. Returning animals back to their owners again after they've been stuck in such a predicament. I'd rescue this kitten any day. He's very, very friendly. He's a beautiful natured little kitten. Oh, my pleasure.
Cool conservation area. It is cool because it is 16 degrees.
Yeah.
Keep it nice and cool because I'm about to introduce you to a possum that likes nice cool temperatures, and they're found in our alpine regions. So we're about to meet a mountain pygmy possum. Now I know this possum's asleep. It's in its hibernation state, so it won't be running around with us today. So what happens in the wild, these mountain pygmy possums actually sleep under the boulder fields. Right. So they are critically endangered. Unfortunately, their habitats coincide with some of our ski fields.
And so they get ploughed over
Yeah,
every year.
people don't realise sometimes they're skiing over these little guys that are hibernating.
Oh, aren't they gorgeous?
But what they'll do, they'll go into deep sleeps for several days.
Yeah.
So during the winter periods when there's lots of snow, it's pretty cold, they need to conserve their energy, save their body fat, so they lower their body temperature and sleep.
She looks like she's shivering a little bit. Is that because she's cold
Just
and
a little
hibernating?
bit. That's because she's just coming out of her sleep. Tonight, well, probably in another hour or so, she'll come out and feed.
Okay.
So I've actually prepared her food.
Is this it over
Yeah, let's have a look at what they eat. In the wild, these guys have been well known to feed on, or feast, I should say, on bogon moths.
Oh, yeah.
So in the warmer parts of the year, in swarms, these bogon moths, which you can actually see just here, fly into their habitats and they feast on these guys and put on a lot of weight going into the hibernation period. They need to put on a lot of body fat while they're sleeping.
So they can chew on it while they're hibernating.
To get them through winter, yeah.
And how many of these guys do you have here?
So we've got around about 40 of these mountain pygmy possums here. And we do also have a breeding recovery program for these little guys. And for the very first time, we've actually released them back into the wild. So I think after about 3-4 weeks, we found that all females had pouch young. So these guys
isn't that exciting?
They are little marsupials, so they give birth to underdeveloped pouch young.
And how small are the young then? If she's that small,
teeny tiny,
like smaller than your fingernail.
Very, half that size, so almost a grain of rice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so she's starting to wake up a little bit now. My hands are nice and warm.
Right.
Warming her up a little bit.
Sorry, she's probably not quite ready, are you? Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
No
you
worries.
so much.
Another of Flick's favourite tricks is jumping through hoops. This is one of the tricks that you can use to condition your dog if you're perhaps thinking about getting your dogs into some agility competition. Let's take a look at Flick and the rookie dogs to see how they mastered this skill. I'd like to welcome my rookie dogs and their owners. We've got Luke with Noodle and Rachel with Barnaby, and we're going to work on the jumping through the hoops trick, aren't we, Flick? You ready? So to start with, having the hoop in one hand, positioned fairly close to the ground so our dogs are more stepping through it than jumping, we're going to use a piece of food and throw it through so our dogs step through and chase to that piece of food. So give that a shot with your dogs and see how they like to go. If your dog avoids the hoop, which some dogs do, they go, oh, it's really scary, hopping through that hoop, they want to run around it. Make sure that you get your dog to what I call a point of commitment. So I use my hand and get my dog's nose all the way to here. So if I throw that food over, my dog's kind of forgotten all about that hoop and just does a nice step through. As your dogs boost their confidence in going through the hoop, and these guys are looking really great doing it, we can start to lift that hoop a little bit. And we only lift it a little bit at a time. We don't want to raise it too quickly, otherwise our dogs will start ducking underneath it. I usually start with my dog in a controlled position like a sit for this exercise, and on cue get her to jump through the hoop. Ready, Flick? Hoop? Yes, good girl. Generally the presence of the hoop cues my dog what behaviour to do, but you might also like to use a word like jump, through or hoop to get your dog to do it. And by saying that word, it releases your dog out of the sit to then perform the skill. Along with all the other tricks that you have taught your dog, jumping through the hoop is like the icing on the cake. We can't wait to see the repertoire of tricks that you and your dog have. Bye for now.
A lot of my rescues require some form of equipment like ropes, slings and harnesses for climbing trees, traps to harmlessly capture birds and tools for capturing snakes. But the biggest bit of kit I use is a rescue boat. Earlier in the series, we had to launch the boat to get out into the middle of a lake to capture a swan that had a fishing hook stuck in its leg. Let's check it out. Animal Rescue, Nigel speaking. What do we got, Marianne?
We got the swan entangled in fishing line.
Right. Okay, now we've got to go out and find where these swans have gone to. I think somewhere down here. Okay, well now that we've found them, we've got the swans directly in front of us. We're just going to herd them up towards the sand and do the capture up there, I think. Okay.
Oh shit, you got a Nigel?
Yep.
Oh, good smoke. Oh, come on, Mama. Thanks, Nigel.
Good job, well done. Well done. Oh, there's the hook just in the. Oh.
Yeah, she's gonna needs antibiotics too.
She's feeling good.
Out, getting them back out into the wild again. Take off, Mum. Success! Yay! Gotcha!
Now we get to see all sorts of domestic pets at Vets on Parker, but one of my most memorable moments of the series was when Lisa and I visited Healesville Animal Sanctuary, where they treat over 15,000 sick and injured animals in the specially designed animal hospital. I met Paul Eden, the head vet, and we checked over a Tasmanian devil who was due to be transferred to another zoo. To me, it was fascinating and a rare opportunity to get hands-on with a species that's very different to the ones I usually see in the clinic.
Okay, so we're just going to do a standard physical exam, much like you would do on a dog or a cat.
Yep.
You know, we'll start from the head end and work
Tip
our way
to the
down to
tail.
the tail. And, you know, check the same sort of issues. So, you know, look at her eyes, look at her teeth and those sorts of things.
Cool.
So
Would you like
just
the
grab
ophthalmoscope? There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Can devils develop cataracts?
They certainly can, yep. We have had devils with cataracts here in the past. And obviously it can cause them some problems with their vision, so yeah, we prefer not to have cataracts. Their pupils are kind of a bit cat-like, devils, so they've got that kind of slit style pupil, so that looks good. Teeth not too bad.
Yeah. Just all very similar, just a slightly different shape, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. So devils have got one of the strongest sets of jaws in the world for any mammal.
I'm glad she's asleep.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's why we make sure they're anaesthetised when we do our checks on them. She's got a little sinus down there.
Yeah, she does too. Getting some pus out of that, isn't it?
Yeah. So just have a feel of the belly as well, make sure there's no lumps and bumps that we don't want.
Definitely.
It's an unusual feature of marsupials in that they have an extra bone coming off their pelvis, just up here.
Oh, yeah, they do too.
So it's called the epipubic bone. There's some theories as to that maybe there to support the pouch, but it's also found in male animals, and obviously the males don't have pouches, so yeah, I don't think we sort of have a great understanding as to the purpose of that bone, but
Yeah, quite
it's
unusual.
useful to be aware of.
The Tasmanian devil needs some x-rays to establish the extent of the problem with its teeth.
So we just got the skull x-rays up, just have a look at these teeth.
Yeah,
So
there were two that were a problem, was that?
Yeah, so there was the one
Yep.
tooth that was broken, and we can kind of see that up here,
Oh, yep.
behind this canine. So that tooth has definitely got some infection around it, so we'll definitely have to remove that one. And then we've also got the tooth on the lower jaw, where there's some infection. So yeah, good, I think. Yeah. So yeah, we can see the broken tooth just here, and there was a little bit of sort of a pussy discharge, I guess, coming from it earlier on. So yeah, that'll potentially end up being a tooth root abscess and causing a bit of discomfort.
And spread to, disease would spread to
Yeah, that's
the
right.
adjacent teeth. And
So probably better that it comes out. Let's grab those. Okay.
Beautiful. And then intact.
So yeah, we've got the whole root there, which is good.
Well, that's it for Series 2 of Pets Practice. We really have enjoyed making the show. We would all like to thank the fantastic crew and our producer and director, Richard Brown.
You can find out more about us, the pets on our show, and details of the guests that have joined us throughout the series on our website, petspractice.tv, and also on our Facebook page.